All right, today we are going to go over a method of incremental programming. Oh, I'm supposed to be sure to let all of you know that I am recording this lecture. So, made all of you aware of it. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about a alternate method of incremental programming. As we talked about before, there's two types of programming. There's absolute programming, where we program everything from the home position, and then there is an incremental program where we create virtual zero positions wherever we want. And today we're going to go over G52. G52, the command itself, the definition just means that we are creating a set of coordinates to implement a pre-programmed set of parts. We're basically creating a virtual 0, 0 in any position we want on the grid. Okay. So I'm going to share the screen. We're going to move over to Flash Cut. Okay. I'm going to get this. Hang on, I got Anthony asking me what happened. Jesus. Alright. Just dividing the and Edgar's not here with us either. But, okay, anyway. I'm gonna stop the share. Open the share back up. We're gonna go into flat. All right. And we something a little more complicated to do. We use our rectangle tool. We'll start at our 0, 0. Okay, we're gonna make a 3x3 square. All right. And let me open my door, man. Fire. We'll go in a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, and we'll put, yeah, that works. We'll put a 1/2 inch hole. Okay. We'll do this in all 4 corners. So we count 2 blocks over, 2 blocks down, give it a click, and drag it out to a 1/2 inch. Give it a check. Same thing down here. Click. And we'll do one right here. Okay, so we have a general square flange here. This could be used as a mounting plate. You could weld a pole to it and use it as an anchor bracket to put it in concrete or basically, in a nutshell, it's like a base plate, or you could make them back to back. Of course, somebody's got to dry that fucking hair right now. All right, so we're gonna call this G52 lecture. And the 14th. They all blend together for me, guys. And you get my age, man, all the days just run together.
Tell me
We'll
about it.
this. We'll highlight this and save it so we can name our CNC file the same thing. Save. Okay. Now, since we are going to be using the G52 feature, we can actually leave this on top of the axis because we're going to use a system of local coordinates to move this around. Okay. Our first one's probably going to be like X 0.5, Y 0.5, just to get it out of the way of the axis. Okay. So let's go into cam and we'll see what kind of leads we got. Okay. All right. I'm going to change this because personally I've got to where I like the where we start in the corner, and it just it overlaps the corners a little bit to cut it out. It seems like it makes it a little cleaner than this arc that runs into the center of the line. Plus, it makes more sense to start the cutouts in the corner. The way we would do is you go to change project, all right. Please take off the share. Open the share back up. CNC. You guys still with me?
Yep.
All right. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try to move to a different Wi-Fi access point. Just give me 1 sec. For a second. Okay. This one seems better. All right. All right. Back to Flash Cut. Okay. So we have... What is going on here? How is there bad network quality? I got full bars. Doesn't make... Okay. Anyway, inside our holes we have 1/4 inch arcs, and it looks like it put our overlap over on the right hand side, so I'm gonna have to remember that when I do the positioning. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn this into a G code. We're gonna paste the file, we're gonna save it. Now when we go into CNC, We're going to get a ton of error codes because we're on top of the axes. But not to worry about that. Go in, open our lecture. Okay. Okay, we didn't get any error codes. Maybe if we tried to cut it, let me just see. Yeah, for some reason it actually let us do it this time. This is like a rarity. Okay. All right, anyway. All right, so we're going to go into our G code. All right. Starts off just like any other G code. We have G20. We got M106H plasma 1. We have hashtag fabhead.mode equals cut. We have our start position, which is going to be for the circles. Okay, but we are actually going to change the entire location of where this starts. Okay, so right after fabhead.mode equals cut, instead of putting our home position in, we're going to put G52. And we're going to pick a spot. Let's say X 0.5, Y 0.5. All right, and I'm going to try to save this. And we're going to see if it moves it. And it did. You see what happened? Okay, instead of starting at 0, 0, we created a new alternate 0, 0 spot at X 0.5, Y 0.5. Okay, and if you notice, none of the programming changed. All the programming is the same. That's what's nice about using G52. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do now is go through and we're going to edit this just as if we were to cut out one specific shape. Okay. All right, so we're going to skip down here to line 6, the G603. That is, we know that's the start of a shape and allows for manual torch control. So we know right after this, we have to do what with the torch?
Reposition it.
This is after we position it. Like, okay, we're allowing for manual torch control. We're getting ready to start cuts. So what should we do with the torch?
Turn it on.
Turn it on. Very good. All right, so the code to turn it on is M50. All right. Now, line number 8, that's going to be the lead that goes into the circle. Okay, we'll leave that as is. Line number 9, that's the circle itself. Okay. We see in between lines 9 and 10, there's a transition from G03 to G00. I know in between those two lines, the torch should be off. So we're going to add that in, turn the torch off. Okay, we're also going to raise the torch up. Okay, line number 12, it moves to the next position. Okay, and we're going to lower the torch back down to its normal operating height. Okay, line 14, this is one of the next circles. Okay, same sequence, same pattern. Okay, we see the G603. We know the torch has to get turned on. Line number 16, that's the lead going into the circle. Line number 17 is the circle itself. I see the transition from G03 to G00. I know the torch has to be off right there. M51, same thing. We're going to raise the torch up. moves to the next position at line 20. We lower the torch back down. And we raise the torch before it moves to the next spot just to avoid any melt, debris, anything, things of that nature. Bring the torch back down to the 0 position. Okay? You know what? Let's go ahead and put some notes in here. Okay? We'll call this up here circle 1. Okay. Right here, we'll call this circle 2. All right, now down here, we're getting ready to dive into circle 3. Now, just to keep track of where we are, okay? We know after the G603, got to turn the torch on. Line 24 is our lead. Line 25 is the circle itself. We see the transition in line 25 to 26 from G03 to G00. So I know in between those, torch has to be off. Have to raise up the torch. Moves to the next position in line 28. We lower the torch back down. Okay. All right, line 30. This is going to be our last circle. We'll call it circle 4. Okay, exact same pattern. Okay, a lot of this is just pattern recognition. We know we have a G603. Very next line, turn on the torch. Line 32, that's our lead. Line 33, that's the actual circle. We see the transition from G03 to G00. We know in between those two, torch has got to be off. You got to raise the torch up. It moves to the next position in line 36. Lower the torch back down. Okay, now lastly, line 38. We could tell all these lines are G01, so we know this is our square. So in parentheses, we'll put outer square. Okay. Same pattern. We know we got a G603. Got to turn the torch on. Okay. And from line 40 all the way down to line 53, that's our lines for the square. Then we see the transition from G01 to G00. Okay. All right, so we're going to turn the torch off here. We're going to raise up the torch. Okay. Now, this is where things are going to get a little bit different. Okay. We're not going to return to the home position. Okay. We're going to save this. Yes. Okay, we're going to close it. Make sure it likes everything. It does. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need to pick a spot where we can put another part, okay, with enough space in between so they're not overlapping, so the torch can make adequate cuts. So we can either go back to CAD and take a look and see where we'd want to put it, but it's just as easy to do it in CNC. Okay. My recommendation for the first one, okay, we're at X 0.5, okay? So where's my pen? There it is. All right. So we're going to keep X 0.5 as one of our coordinates, okay? Now we got to pick a Y coordinate that is high enough to give us room to make cuts, maybe put like a quarter or a half inch in between. So I'm looking at this and I see, try to keep it whole numbers, okay? So we'll say 4, okay? Everybody agree with that? Line 4?
Yep. I'm good with it.
X 0.5, okay? That'll give us a, I think that should give us a good spot to put another one. We're going to try it anyway. X 0.5, Y 4. Okay. We're going to go back into our code. Okay. All right. We're going to go down to line 56. We're going to put in another G52. We're going to say X 0.5, Y 4. Okay. We're going to hit enter. We're going to lower the torch back down to operating height. Okay, now watch this. Okay, we're going to take everything from line 5 and we're going to copy this entire program up until this G 0.5 before we get to the next G52. So we highlight everything, we hit Control C to copy it, okay? Line 58, we're going to hit Control V to paste it. Okay, so what we did was we took the program for one base plate or flange, whatever you want to call it. Okay, we didn't change anything, we just copied it, and we created a new position for this to start. Okay, now we're going to save this, and hopefully when we look at it, it's in a good spot. Which, you see what just happened here? By programming just one part and using that G52 command and copying everything, we're able to do this as many times as we want. Okay, we can produce as many parts as we want, and as long as it fits within our material, we're basically limitless. Okay, so our next position, we'll stick with X 0.5, and we'll go with Y8. Okay, so we go back into our pencil, scroll all the way down. All right, we put in a G52, put in X 0.5, Y8. We bring our torch back down to the 0 position. Okay, now we already have all this copied, so all we have to do is hit Control V and paste it. File, save, close it. Now we got 3 spots. Looks a little bit high. So let's go back and change that to 7.5. That's another beauty about this. So we go back, we find where we put our G52 in, which should be right here. And instead of 8, we're going to put in 7.5. We'll save it again. We'll close it. Now that looks right. Okay, now we're a 1/2 inch apart. Okay, so how would we do this if we wanted to add some next to it? How would we do it vertically? Okay, in this instance, our first position, we're going to use Y 0.5, and we got to pick an X position. Okay, that's about a 1/2 inch away from where we started. So we're really close to 3.5. So we'll go with 4. Okay, we're basically flip-flopping it. Okay, when we went in the vertical direction, we had X 0.5, Y 4. When we're going in the horizontal, we're going to have X 4, Y 0.5. So basically all we're doing is creating new 0 points with that G52, and then we're just copying and pasting the program so we don't have to keep writing it over and over and over and over. Okay? Go back into our pencil, go down to the end of the program, type in our new set of coordinates, G52, X4, Y 0.5, put on our G00, bring our torch back down, hit Control V, we save it, we close it, now we got one right next to it, and it looks like the spacing is about equal. Okay, now the next one that we did was X 0.5 Y4, but that's not going to work. So in this particular case, okay, we're already at 4. Our next set of positions is going to be X4, Y4. We'll put it right here. It'll be in line with the one right next to it. We hit our pencil, go back down to the bottom, put in our G52, X4, Y4, put in our G00, bring our torch back down, Control V to paste the entire program. We save it, we close it, got another one right next to it. Okay, and we'll plug in one more here. Okay, so we know we went with Y 7.5, so we'll stick with that, and X is going to stay at 4. So X will be 4, Y is 7.5. Now I'm just looking at that because of the grid. Everything else is in line with 4. This is in line with 7.5. I know that from memory, and just from, if we were to zoom in, we could see it's at 7.5. Okay, so we go into our pencil, scroll down. This will be the last one we put in. All right, put on our G52. We do X4, Y 7.5. Put in our G00 to bring our torch back down. Hit Control V. Paste everything. Save it. Close it to check it out. Okay, so essentially we have duplicated this part 6 commands, but we only had to write the program once. Can you imagine how long, I mean, just where we are right now without finishing it out? Okay, we are at 320 lines. Could you imagine if we had to program each one of these shapes individually in the absolute method from the 0 position? That could take us hours, you know? So within the matter of a half hour, we were able to duplicate this part another, 5 times just by copying and pasting the code. So when it comes to duplicating parts, this is the method that most people are most comfortable with. Just G52. And you can put it anywhere you want, okay? Let's just close. Let's put one out in a random position somewhere, okay? Let's say we want to put one out here, okay? Let's go with X12Y4. So our G52 will create a virtual 0 at X12Y4. I'm probably going to erase this one just because it doesn't match the rest of the stuff we did. We go down to the bottom, line 321, put in G52. What did I say? X12Y what? 4? All right, X12Y4. All right, let me write down what line that started. Line 321. Okay. We lower our torch back down to the 0 position. We hit Control V to paste the programming. File, save it. File, close it. Now we put one out here. Okay. So, like I said, that's the great thing about G52. You can put parts anywhere you want. You can program on the 0 position, gives us the ability to move it. Sometimes this makes it easy because when you're initially programming a part and we work from the 0 position, we get to use whole numbers or short decimals. We don't have to worry about adding that ½ inch or, whatever. We can just start right at the home position. But G52 gives us the ability to move it where it needs to go. Okay. But like every other program, we do have to finish this out and bring it back to the home position. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Go into Edit G code. I'm going to go down to line 321 and I'm going to take all that out because I'm real anal when it comes to uniformity. So you just highlight that, back it out, okay? All right, so we're in incremental programming now because we're using G52. We have to return it to absolute programming, okay? The way that we would do that is you put in G52, X0, Y0. That sends the virtual position back to our regular home position. And then you just add G00, X0, Y0. Our torch is already raised in line 320. Okay, so you file, save that, file, close it. You can see now, after it's done cutting the one at the top, it returns back to our home position. Okay. The one thing we do have to do, you notice all the speeds are at 336, way too fast. Okay. I don't know if I've showed you guys this before, but instead of going through and changing each one individually, you can go to edit, go to replace, you find F336.00, and we're going to replace it with F35. Go to replace all, hit OK, X that out. Now it's changed all the speeds to 35. Okay. Now, I know this was a lot to take in. This won't be the only day we go over it, but I just wanted to introduce the concept of the G52. And the important thing to remember is that it gives us the ability to basically move a part wherever we want, and wherever we move that part to, it acts as a 0-0. So we don't have to make any alterations to the programming of the part. And tomorrow I'll show you how we can do this manually. If we were to manually create a part and wanted to do the same thing with G52, move it around as many times as we want, absolutely super useful when you're cutting multiples. Questions? Like, I know this is new, so don't be afraid to ask questions. And the reason I'm introducing you guys to this now is because I usually wait until the end, and this is something that we can benefit from throughout the rest of the course. So for you guys are actually the first group that I've ever introduced these two concepts this early. And I did that because I feel confident that you're comfortable enough with the basics as far as when to turn the torch on, when to turn it off, the pattern recognition. I think you guys are at a level to where you're able to handle this stuff. Okay, so you guys are the first group that I trust enough to introduce this so early. Okay, so you guys should be proud of yourselves for being at that level. I've actually, I always say this for the last 2 weeks of class, but you guys have been doing such a good job, and when I ask for answers, you call them out. I'm proud of you guys, so I want you guys to get experience with this, because this is like advanced level stuff. You know, if you were to go to get a job as like a CNC programmer, this is the kind of stuff that they would want to see. Like, oh, this guy knows about incremental programming. He knows about begin grid. You know, I want you guys to have that knowledge when you walk out and be comfortable using it. Okay? So I think we've taken in enough information for today, and I'm going to end this here. I will post this video. Hopefully I can figure out how to do that. I've never actually made a video on Teams, but I will do my best to I'll do my best to convert this video into a YouTube video, and I will post it in Teams for review purposes. There's also notes that I have on G52 that I can deliver to you as well. So is there any other questions? Nope. Okay. All right. Well, you guys did a good job today, and I will see you tomorrow. I don't think I have anything unexpected popping up tomorrow, so we'll start at our regular time at 9:30. And Danny, give me a few minutes, and I'll send you a Zoom invite so we can go over that information that you had asked about. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and end it. I will see you guys tomorrow. Uh, yes.